feeling much out here on this Desperation road. Oh hey guys, it's Gremlin Lord 615, and I'm back with another bargain bin movie review. This week's movie is a 2023 film, Desperation Road. In a small Mississippi town, justice and the law are two very different things. Academy Award winner Mel Gibson, Garrett, Hedlund, and Willa Fitzgerald star in a modern noir thriller based on the acclaimed novel by Michael Ferris Smith. Two lost souls tortured by the mistakes of their past are bound by a secret that keeps them running. Rated R. This movie stars Garrett Hedlund, who plays Russell. After being released from prison, Russell reconnects with his family and his friends. He struggles to make peace both with his mistakes from the past and the fact his mother passed away while he was incarcerated. Garrett plays his character with a somber and brooding attitude. He speaks down in this low timbre with a southern drawl. Russell has a tough exterior, but he wears his heart of gold on his sleeve. I feel Garrett Hedlund does a great job at making Russell feel real relatable. It was a great performance and enjoyable to watch. Willa Fitzgerald plays Mabon, who is struggling to make a life for herself and her daughter, Anna Lee. They are homeless and are barely scraping by. Willa Fitzgerald is the standout star in this film for me. From the moment she appears on the screen, I was glued to her performance. Willa brought such a realism to Mabon. I could really feel her joy, pain, and resilience. Definitely a diamond in the rough. Mel Gibson plays Mitchell, Russell's father. Mel Gibson is very much a supporting character in this film, despite being front and forward on this DVD cover. Mitchell is there to support his son and help him when he can. There's a little background on him, but often he just feels like a plot device, there to move things along. Gibson gives a serviceable performance though. Other supporting characters are Officer Boyd, played by Woody McLean, and Vengeful Larry, played by Ryan Hurst. Where to start with this movie? Just by looking at this cover, I thought it was going to be a lot more action-oriented since, two of the main characters are holding guns. Like shootouts and corny one-liners. But that wasn't the case. There are some really good elements going on here, but there's also some really odd choices. Let's start with the visuals. I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed the look and feel of this film. Director Nadine Crocker has such a knack for interesting angles and beautiful shots. It's crazy to think this entire movie was shot in 16 days. That's it, just 16 days. I don't even know how that's possible. The movie is an hour and 52 minutes long, and sometimes it did feel just a little too long. For example, our main characters, Mabon and Russell, don't even cross paths until 52 minutes into the film. It's almost an hour. Up to that point, it was really starting to feel like two separate movies. And it was even later in the film where we finally get to see stories about their past. It got a little tiresome waiting for explanations to things. Things like, why was Russell in prison? What happened to Mabon before this? I wish these things were revealed about 25 minutes sooner. Then there were additional story elements, some of which that were underexplained, and other ones that were overly explained to the point that I didn't know why we were even seeing it. For example, Russell has this strange encounter with Sarah, played by Ella Thomas. This interaction came out of nowhere, but apparently they were romantically involved before his stint in prison. She returns a ring to him and they have an emotional goodbye. I can understand having this scene as another way to show how Russell lost everything, but to me it just felt inconsequential. That's pretty much the only time we see Sarah. And then we have the character of Larry. Larry holds a grudge against Russell for his past grievances. Traditionally, a character like Larry would be rather one-dimensional. Other than seeking vengeance, the audience wouldn't really know much about him. He would just be there to bring conflict. But curiously enough, we get a lot of background story about Larry. He has connections to both Russell and Mabon. We see him having private conversations with his brother. We see him fighting with his ex-wife. We see him drunk, harassing his teenage son at a baseball game. He even gets an emotional send-off scene. It was a lot of scenes for a side character. I think a lot of it was unnecessary. Ryan Hurst does do a good job at bringing Larry to life, but sometimes it felt a little too campy. We could have gotten smaller pieces of these little stories, if anything just to garner more sympathy for his character. But the way it was done, it felt like we were shifting into a different film completely. And these two kinds of things hurt the pacing of the film for me. For example, we would be watching some character growth for Russell, but then we gotta stop and take a break and watch Larry go do some drunk driving. Aside from this, the overarching story is actually very interesting. Without giving anything away, the intertwining experiences of Mabon and Russell made for a great story. It felt like we were piecing together the mystery, a very noir feeling. Every action felt significant. There was a decent amount of tension, and the conclusion was very satisfying. You just have to fight through all the extra stuff to get there. Desperation Road is a heavy tale of the human struggle and redemption. Russell and Mabin feel as though they're connected by an invisible thread. I enjoyed watching how the director laid out their journeys, with the exception of the odd side character tales. And that is why I'm giving Desperation Road a staunch 6.5 out of 10. While I loved how the film was shot and the noir-style story, the additional character stories ruined the pacing, and it made the film feel overly long. So have you seen the 2023 movie Desperation Road? It's currently available to watch on Tubi for free, or you can buy it from Amazon Prime. Or you can pick it up from the bargain bin at Walmart, like I did. So rest your weary soul in the comment section down below, and let me know how you felt about it. And remember, liking and subscribing will keep our tales intertwined. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.